you've come on to Monday Night Raw to an audience that for the last 5 years has been told WCW is the enemy or WCW is inferior. And suddenly they're presenting you in the main event, two WCW main eventers and top talent, and they've positioned you here. And I still to this day do not really understand the rationale for that. I mean, I guess a lot's been said about that match, a lot's been written about it, but there are only two men in the ring, which is you and Booker T. What are your memories of kind of what went down on that Monday Night Raw?
Anybody that doesn't see it my way really just doesn't like Buff Bagwell. When you look at that match, that there is absolutely nothing wrong with that match. And I've done 1,000 podcasts saying, you got fired over the bad match. And the same guys that did the podcast about the bad match, they would talk about a couple years later, they'd talk about, that match wasn't that bad. It wasn't that it wasn't that bad. It wasn't bad at all. There's not one flaw in that match. There's not a missed clothesline. There's not a punch that looks bad. Every punch, every move, every single drop kick, every kick, it was right on the money. It just wasn't what they wanted. And they made people believe that it was a bad match. It's not the truth, though. It just isn't. There's a bad match when you see a guy, duck a clothesline that's not there, or he misses a drop kick, or he's off a little bit in the ring. There was nothing that happened bad in that match. But there's two things that people don't know. Number one, they don't know that nobody talked to us about that match. Booker T would also confirm this, but when we got to the back, me and Booker were kind of blaming each other for it just not flowing well. It didn't flow good, but again, there wasn't nothing wrong with the match, but it didn't flow real good for me. And me and Booker have had thousands of great matches. And so me and Booker were excited about the match, but it didn't flow real as smooth as we liked it to. But Booker, we got to the back and they were like, and Johnny Ace was in charge of the 12 wrestlers that got hired at WWE first. And then Pat Patterson is who did all of the main event finishes from the WWF. So neither one of them came and talked to me and Booker. All that we were told to do was Stone Cold came to us and he told us that him and Kurt were going to hit at the end of their match, beat Booker up, beat me up. I was going to join and help beat Booker up, and then they were going to turn on me and toss me out the back too. We had no talk about what kind of match they wanted. There was nobody came to us and told us exactly what they wanted. So we didn't know. We just went out and gave them a WCW style match. And that's not what the WWF does, but we didn't know that. We went out and did the best we could. And they acted like we fell over each other. But the biggest thing a lot of people don't realize is the next week was Atlanta, Georgia. Why would anybody if this one sentence don't say it all, who puts on a match a week before Atlanta when you're calling it the Invasion? The Invasion would have been perfect, not 2 weeks away, not a month away. 7 days later, we could have done me and Booker in Atlanta, Georgia, and the roof came off the place. Yeah. But instead, they put it in Tacoma, Washington, 5,000 miles away from Ted Turner. And we got booed out of the building, and we didn't give a good example. We didn't give a good match, but it wasn't a match that you get fired over. It's not even a possible thing. If people got fired over wrestling matches, I saw 5 people get fired this past Monday. I mean, you got to be kidding, You don't fire Buff Bagwell because he had a bad match. Yeah. There's more to the story, guys. Look at it a little bit. There's more to the story. You don't fire Buff Bagwell because his mom called. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these are things that people believe. Yeah. And I'm like, come on, man. I'm a 5-time world tag team champion with 5 different guys, man. Yeah. You just don't do that unless you did it right.